The story in which I'm about to tell you is exactly why a lot of people have an issue with HBCUs now. So, like I said, HBCUs have not been getting the best rap or the best coverage in the last year or so. Like, there's always been some controversy going on. You had the Deion Sanders situation, you had the Ed Reed situation. You know, a lot of people were upset about what happened at Coppin State University with the Latina winning Miss Coppin State University. You have the immigrants coming into these various HBCUs and for free, basically getting funding and all kind of set-asides. Howard University has been in the news a few times because of what's going on with their students. Now Howard's back in the news again because a white student that goes to the school is now suing the school for $2 million over, get this, racial discrimination. When I saw that, I said, uh-oh, what's going on now? What was said, what was taken out of context, and was being over-exaggerated? Because it better be a hefty one for them to want to sue for $2 million. But let's go. I'm going to go ahead now and get into it. I'm reading this article from the New York Post. It was posted February 26, 2023. A white student at Howard University's law school is suing the institution for racial discrimination, alleging the school created a quote-unquote hostile education environment. Michael Newman, the plaintiff, attended Howard University School of Law starting in the fall semester of 2020 and remained there for just 2 years until he was expelled in September 2022. He is seeking $2 million in monetary damages for pain, suffering, emotional anguish, and damage to his reputation. Now I'm curious, what did he get expelled over? Hopefully it goes into details going forward. Frank Tramble, Vice President and Chief Communications Officer for Howard University, said that while he could not comment substantively due to pending litigation, the university is prepared to vigorously defend itself in this lawsuit, as the claims provide a one-sided and self-serving narrative of the events leading to the end of the students' enrollment at the university. So, yeah, without really much details, it's kind of hard to tell or say who was in the right and who was in the wrong. But I'm willing to bet that this former student getting expelled, he's not telling the whole story. I'm willing to bet he is not telling the whole story. And I would love to know if there's anybody in his department, as far as other people going for a law degree, did they know him personally? And is there any details that they can tell us about him? Or maybe they know why he got expelled, because something tells me he ain't going to go into all the details. This man is trying to sue for $2 million. That's a lot of money. Of course, he wouldn't get all of it, but still, that's a lot of money to sue for. But he said racial discrimination. I've already read like 3 paragraphs and it hasn't gone into detail of what the racial discrimination is, but let me continue reading and see what they say. Newman suffered quote unquote depression, anxiety, and suicidal thoughts as a result of public ostracism, vilification, and humiliation, the lawsuit claims. At one point, global head of diversity recruiting Reggie McGahee allegedly told Newman he had become the most hated student McGahee had seen during his tenure at the university, according to the lawsuit. When Newman raised concerns over his treatment to school administrators, the law school's dean allegedly denied that Caucasian students at Howard Law, and Newman in particular, face racial discrimination to any degree. So there it is. So this person said that he, as a white person, or said denied that he faced any type of racial discrimination. And you know what's going to end up happening? You know, the reason why I can't really take this seriously is because we have seen for the last couple of months this ongoing trend where a lot of PC people, especially more so PC men than anything, talking about there's a war on white people. You had Mark Dice say it. You've had Charlie Kirk say it. You basically had, in so many words, Adam Scott say it. Or Scott Adams, I should say. I always get his name confused and say it backwards. Scott Adams. Basically, he was saying it. It goes back to that whole replacement theory that, you know, something is happening to them and they have to point a finger of blame at somebody. And why not point it at the people that they love to point the finger of blame at the most, and that would be us as black people? Yeah, I'm not really, this individual story is not checking out so far to me. Following discussions of Newman's purported racial insensitivity, students learned of a tweet from Newman's private Twitter account that included a picture of a slave bearing his badly scarred back with the caption, "But we don't know what he did," before the picture was taken, according to the lawsuit. Well, well, well. Look at that. So we're getting a little bit deeper here. So he put this tweet up there, a very insensitive one, of a slave with a badly scarred back, and saying we don't know what was happening before this picture was taken. So he thought it was a joke about slavery. And I'm willing to bet I know what picture it was. That infamous slave picture of the man with the badly scarred back, you know, the character that Will Smith played in that movie Emancipation. That's probably what it was. Newman claimed the tweet was mocking commentators who attempt to explain away videos of police brutality by claiming the victim must have committed wrongdoing before the video started. That's what he claims. He alleged that students responded with references to his race, gender, sexual preference, age, and personal appearance. The fact that he put sexual preference screams to me he might be in the academy, so he's trying to go for that too. You know, just in case the racial discrimination one falls flat, I guess he'll lean on the academy side. The trouble started when the university shifted to remote learning at the start of the pandemic, meaning students communicated through purely online forums and through GroupMe chats, Newman claimed in court papers. After a symposium featuring a black speaker in the run-up to the 2020 election, Newman said he posted on a professor's forum page asking if further dialogue would be had on whether, 1, black voters didn't question turning to government for solutions, and 2, reliably voting for the same party every election decentivized both parties from responding to the needs of the black communities. Some students responded negatively to Newman's post and reached out to school administrators, prompting Newman's removal from one of his group chats for the class, according to the allegations. It just sounds like to me this is a person that was overstepping his boundaries. That's why I say we gonna have to start throwing that gate up. We're just gonna have to, because people get beside themselves. Newman also described feeling utterly disenfranchised at the school and compared himself to a black student at a primarily white university. Why? Why would you even make that comment? I don't know if y'all saw it, but in that video, Jason Black, the Black Authority, he did a live stream talking about Scott Adams. And in that video, I don't know if Scott Adams was high on something or what, but he was trying to going around telling people that he was a black person, or he felt like he was a black person, or something to his benefit, or something along the line. It didn't make any sense. It wasn't coherent at all. We was kind of understand what he was trying to say, but it wasn't making any sense. When I hear this, it reminded me of that. This guy said he compared himself to a black student at a primarily white university. The student response was again largely negative, with some calling his comment offensive, he claimed. Newman repeatedly apologized for offending anyone, stressing he was seeking to learn not just law, but to learn the thoughts and experiences of, these are his words coming, people of color. I would have been insulted on that alone, because y'all know I don't like that people of color terminology, and I know many of you watching right now don't like it either. But Newman allegedly faced more overt hostility, with many students starting to refer to him as the Mayo King, a perceived reference to his race, and White Panther, and students claimed that controversies that they blamed on Newman had caused severe stress and distracted them from their studies. Newman tried to remedy the situation by sending out a 4-part letter explaining his views, but the effort was labeled a manifesto, with one student accusing him of manipulating classmates' emotions as a social experiment, the lawsuit said. The letters allegedly resulted in Newman's removal from a second class-wide group chat. School of Law Dean Danielle Holly later secretly recorded a Zoom meeting she called with Newman and McGahee, during which she suggested Newman transfer to another school, accusing him of racially harassing classmates, according to the allegations. During a digital town hall attended by 300 participants to discuss controversy surrounding Newman, Holly allegedly characterized Newman's letters as disturbing in every sense of the word, according to the suit. She allegedly blocked him from using several functions to try and speak up in his defense, even disabling the chat function and turning off his camera. Holly and Newman wound up filing simultaneous complaints, with Holly accusing Newman of continual harassment of member of the Howard Law community and disturbance of the learning environment at the School of Law. At the same time, Newman claimed Holly had perpetuated threats, discrimination, and a hostile academic environment. In a panel reviewing Holly's complaint, the school determined that Newman was responsible and ruled that he should be expelled. To his knowledge, Newman's complaint was never adjudicated. Newman appealed the ruling, but a second review panel allegedly reached the same conclusion, despite the revelation that Holly had supplied the first panel with evidence that Newman never saw, which she argued amounted to secret evidence. The attorneys representing Newman filed the suit in federal court. Newman's lawyer will try to prove the school broke its contract with Newman, a student who attended on a scholarship, after a series of incidents and accusations led to multiple review panels and hearings that resulted in his expulsion, according to the lawsuit. Yeah, this is a very, very, very messy story right here. But like I said, his story has a lot of holes in it. Really think about it. Think about some of the stuff that he said. And that's the thing when it comes to PC people, is they say these things and they try to be liberal with it. That's why a lot of people don't like the liberal PC individual, because they try to say things where they think they are kissing black people's ass, or they're trying to warn themselves up to black people so they don't come off as threatening or racist or even as a white supremacist. But when they do, the stuff that leaves out of their mouths just makes it worse. It's probably just best that you don't say anything at all until you are addressed on a particular matter. And then we can really see where your mind is at. But a lot of them tell us what their mindset is like before we even have a chance to ask them a question or give them a suggestion or ask for their input on anything. He probably thought what he was doing was harmless, but it really wasn't. So I don't know how far this lawsuit is going to go. Something tells me it won't go very far. Yeah, but going back to one of my points, it sounds to me like he's going down that road of, oh, black people are so dangerous, they're so hostile, they're treating me this way, they're not, they don't like me because I'm white and all types of stuff like that. That is literally the bag that a lot of white people, especially a lot of white men, are hopping in right now. Because notice how often this talking point is popping up. It's happening so frequently. That's why I also side-eye this whole situation. And the thing is, they pulled up receipts about stuff that he was saying in some of these group chats. Him, on the other hand, he's just throwing out, oh, they were being mean to me because I'm white. That's what they're hanging their head on right now. Imagine that the group with the most privilege in America is claiming that people don't like them because they're white. I'm doing a whole Operation Protect the White Boy series going on right now, where it's literally a series of videos of white males literally getting away with evading cops, resisting arrest, not complying, killing people, killing cops, and getting slaps on the wrist. And you want me to actually sit here and believe that you're being discriminated against? You must have thought I was born yesterday. And one last thing I wanted to add in here is we got to be very careful about how this actually goes down. Let's hypothetically say that this individual wins the lawsuit, which I doubt they will. But let's hypothetically say that they do. It's going to be a few non-black students at these HBCUs, especially the PC ones, that's going to get ideas. And if they feel like anyone is going to, if they feel like they can get a win from this, or at least cause some controversy at the most, they're going to pull that stunt that this person is doing right now. So like I said, I believe in domino effects. One domino falls and the rest continue to tumble down right along with it. So just keep this in mind, that if this person is successful with this lawsuit, even if they aren't successful, the fact that it's come to people's attention, that's what they're going for. And you already know they have to make black people the big black boogeyman or boogie woman or boogie person as a collective. And if they can successfully do it here, they're not going to stop. And if this was a mission for them to say, oh, we're going to close down these HBCUs, not because of how they're ran, or because of issues that black people have with it, but because the 1 or 2 PC people that are there have an issue. And the black people there are bullying them. They're being mean to them. This is just institutions of hate. Shut them down. When anyone can clearly look at some of these PWIs and find some very shady stuff going on there. We don't even have to go to the collegiate level. Look at some of these public schools, but they ain't shutting them down. How many times have we heard stories where they be doing those racist Black history assignments and assemblies and programs and activities? I just talked about one that occurred in Arlington, Virginia, which is not that far from Howard University.